cool. All right, we officially live, man. Let me go ahead and just. All right, cool. All right, so we officially live on here, man. Let me post these links real quick, and I ain't gonna lie, we're just gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna post these links. We finna get straight to it, man. I ain't gonna waste no time today. All right, give me 1 second. All right. All right, cool. Let some people load in here real quick. What up, mama? How you doing? How you doing? Shoot, I'm about to get right into the topic of today's stream in a moment. I'm just getting the links out and posting it and stuff like that. Getting prepared. Put the waves on camera real quick. Ooh, ooh. All right, cool. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get to it then. All right, so boom. For those who may not know me, I'm Trey. I am the founder of the Trader Boys platform. For those who tune into the live or who may come back and watch this live later, since this video will be posted onto YouTube after the live is over, just want to formally introduce myself and what I stand for. I'm not here to try to force anything onto anyone or tell you what to do or tell you how to spend your money. I am just here to bring clarity and opportunity and understanding to the markets, to the future of finance, and how to multiply your money over an extended period of time. So that is all I'm here for. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do, not telling nobody how they should act or how they should move their money or maneuver around. So today's stream, I'm gonna be streaming every Sunday, various times between 2 and 5. So be sure to tune in during those days. Once you join up, go ahead and leave a comment so I know who's all in here. Nonetheless, though, today's stream, we're going to be talking about a number of things. And one of the things is going to be majority of the monetary system. For those who don't know what the monetary system is basically how money works, how money moves globally, and of course in our country since we're the United States. But more focusing on the monetary system because I see a lot of different talks about how the crypto realm and digital assets is going to be playing with the monetary system, and a lot of people just either confused or not understanding or just wanting to know what's going on with that. And then of course we'll talk about digital assets, crypto. We'll look at some charts to start it off, just to do a quick weekly recap. We won't dive too deep into any charts. We'll just look at Bitcoin's weekly recap so we could kind of see the standard of the crypto market, which is still just kind of in, accumulation zone and waiting for some regulation zone, which we could potentially receive this week. Nonetheless, we'll just get right into the video. So as we see Bitcoin in the past week, we're on the weekly chart. So remember, every week, every candle on this chart represents a week to week ratio. Okay, so when we look at these candles, each candle represents a week. So this last week right here just closed at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And you see we broke out 2 weeks ago and we closed red. So we're still in a failed retest, no bullish sentiment. We're just kind of in chop zone, accumulation zone, people buying, people selling, people waiting for more clarity. And that's all there is in the crypto market right now is more clarity. So this is a good time to buy assets that you deem valuable, to invest into the markets as you see fit, of course. So that's pretty much the standard right now for where the market stability is. We're not bearish, we're not bullish, we're just sitting here in this 90K zone, waiting to break above some EMAs, waiting to retest, and waiting to see where structure and news will take us. Now, as far as the bulk of this conversation, which is going to be about money and monetary system and how this all ties in to the crypto realm, I just wanted to start off with looking at Bitcoin and the stability and the current news of the market. So with that being said, we're going to move straight into our topic for today. For those watching, remember, if you're tuning in, just go ahead and say what's up. I'm not trying to be preaching or teaching or telling you what to do with your money when it comes to that, in that sort of sense. I don't want to be preaching about money to you or telling you, hey, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. Instead, I want to be telling you this is an open-ended conversation. Let's go. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Let's go. This is an open-ended conversation, so chime in at any time. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. Ask questions. Get clarity, because that is what the purpose of these lives are for. So when we're talking about the monetary system, we're going to be looking at the US dollar, of course, because the US dollar is the global reserve currency, meaning just outside of the US, when the US trades or other countries trade amongst each other, there has to be one currency that everyone has and is willing to do deals with, and that money is our money, the US dollar. The US dollar is what the global reserve currency is. Originally, it was gold because everyone had gold and it was scarce and it wasn't a lot around, and that's what it was. But now it's the US dollar. And a lot of people are seeing how the world is moving and revolves of war and revolves around, our president, whatever, however people may feel about him. It revolves around a lot of different things. And when that happens, it creates uncertainty, not only in the markets, but between buyers and sellers. There's uncertainty. I'm uncertain on the future on if I should buy and hold because I don't know where it's going. I'm uncertain if I should sell. I'm uncertain on if yesterday's price is going to be today's price. So with that uncertainty, people are drawing conclusions that we may need to pivot away from our global reserve currency being the dollar, since one, US is in debt, inflation is terrible, prices and costs of goods just keep on going up and up and up in the eyes of everyday people, of course. And people think we should just go away from being the front and center of the world and of the attention. But let me tell you two things that can be true. One thing for sure, America will never give up that sort of power. We live in America, and if you're watching this and you don't live in America, let me tell you what America is about. We love to be the big brother in the world. We love to look out for other people. We love to have a say in everything because we are the dominant country in the world. That's how we view ourselves, and that's how we'll always view ourselves. That's how we've been viewing ourselves. That's why people left other countries to find this land to create that opportunity for themselves. So as far as US dollar going away from being the global reserve currency, that will never happen. And a lot of people think that will happen, that maybe we should go back to gold, or maybe we should have some other backing system, or maybe Bitcoin could come through and become that global reserve currency. But that will not happen. And let me tell you how and show you why I am so sure of this not happening, even with crypto coming into play. So first thing first, before we even get into that, we're going to load up these coin market caps. This is just pretty much everything related to crypto. This is going to show us what our currencies are looking like and what our assets are performing at. And you can see market cap. You can see all these different types of structures on this app. So we'll dive into that in a second. Fear and greed index up here. We'll dive into that in 1 second. But as far as money, money does not equal wealth. It is not the equivalent to wealth, okay? Money is a tool, okay? The system is designed. It's not by accident. So the system was designed for money to be what scales and shows us the price of things. There's 3 things that money does. It's not just a get-rich tool, as in, okay, if I have the most money, I'm the richest. Yes, that's how we view it, and that's how it looks in simple terms. But one, it's a unit of account, okay? So that means that's how we tell how much something's worth. That's how we give something value. That's how we dictate how much something costs. So we use the money that we have to say this shirt is worth $10. If we didn't have money, how would we know what this shirt is worth? Okay, so it is a unit of account. 2, it's a medium of exchange, meaning we trade money. Okay, in the markets, we trade money, we trade stocks, we trade everything that comes around money. Okay, and 3, money is a store of value. So you should feel safe in, if I save my money, I could be able to accumulate more money over time. This is a safe haven. It's a store of value. But let me show you what. This is where the US dollar fails. The US dollar is not a store of value. And the reason why the US dollar is not a store of value is because we print more and more and more. We continue to print more US dollars. We have paper money. So when we have paper money, we just print more as we see fit. When you print more money, inflation grows higher. And the reason why we print money isn't just because, oh, we need to have more money out there. It's because all of the pressure of the USD being the global reserve currency causes us to print money. Not only that pressure, but the pressure in our own backyard of all of these Americans that need money. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So money isn't the equivalent to wealth. Money is the tool to wealth. Okay? So you could have wealth in knowledge. You could have wealth in wisdom. You could have wealth in your spirit. You can have wealth with money, but money is not the only wealth. Money is a tool. Money can help you obtain wealth. That is a very, 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 very important distinction when it comes to talking about money. And we just talked about what money actually is. So if we just to recapitalize on that, it's a unit of account, it's a medium of exchange, and it's supposed to be a store of value, which the US dollar is not, because we print more and more money. So how did we get here? It all started with gold. Originally, gold was the money. Gold was the store of value. Gold was the unit of account. You would say, okay, this shirt is worth one golden, let's say one golden bar, okay? Now I know that's not the case, but we're just gonna say that for hypothetical reasons, okay? So it was a unit of account. It would show you how much something is worth. So it was a unit of account. It was a medium of exchange. We traded gold. I'll give you this gold bar for this silver. I'll give you this gold bar for this shirt. You know what I mean? We traded it, okay? And it was actually a store of value because you could not print more. We could mine more, but there was only X amount out there to be mined. We didn't have access to all the mines. Other countries sit on top of mines, okay? One of our most famous mines is California, the California Gold Rush. A lot of people may be familiar with that. That was an important mine, okay? So that's why gold was the global reserve currency at a point in time. Eventually, we shifted over to paperback gold. So it was meaning that we had something that was a paper that was backed by gold, okay? So it wasn't actually gold itself. It was like, this brush represents currency, and this gold is backed by gold. So anything related to this brush is backed by gold. And originally, that worked for a long time. But then, of course, America, as ambitious as we are, which is a good thing and a bad thing, we need more of this paper. We need more. 1971, under Nixon, under the Nixon administration, gold was removed from the office, okay? With gold being removed from the office, that's when we started turning to printing money, aka the USD. And ever since then, now we print, we print, we print. The more money being printed, the higher inflation normalizes. When inflation normalizes, it turns into not saying that it's a bad thing or a good thing, but the Fed's doing Fed cuts like, hey, we want to get to this amount of inflation. So now we're looking at inflation as a tool. It's normalized. It's something that we're okay with, which shouldn't be the case, because if we were using money as a store of value, we wouldn't have to be concerned about printing money, okay? So that's kind of the intro for the monetary system, right? This is why we feel a lack of money, because wages are slow, okay? We get paid every 2 weeks. Price moves fast, meaning things go up. Things are getting more expensive, but we're not getting paid any faster. Yeah, we might get paid a little more. Minimum wage might change every 5 years, but we getting paid slow and prices moving fast, and savings are losing value, because as we cut and lower interest rates or upper interest rates, then guess what? Your savings account lose value, okay? So over time, as we keep on printing more money, inflation goes up, savings lose value, we still get paid slow, and prices going up on everything that we need to buy. Houses, cars, rent, mortgages, food, gas, everything's going up, but we're still getting paid slow. And our savings isn't much of a savings because it's worth less and less over year. Doesn't that just sound bogus? How is our savings account worth less than what it was 10 years ago, but the price of everything is higher than it was 10 years ago? Okay? And the reason for that is because of a poor monetary system, is because we are printing money. And guess what? When the '08 recession happened, that's where crypto was discovered and blockchains became a thing and something that could potentially be a fix to all of this. Now, I want to get right into it as talking about, why do people think, now that crypto is becoming more of a bigger thing and we're almost at the point where it's going to be normalized, why do people think that crypto will take over the US dollar? Well, that can't be further from the truth. We have to look at it just like this. Crypto is going to enhance the strength of the dollar, meaning it's going to make the dollar stronger. It's going to make it so that when we are using the dollar globally, not just us as in our retailers, globally, when the dollar is being used globally, we won't have to keep printing more and more and more and more because of the pressure. The crypto market is going to be used and designed to relieve some of that pressure from the US dollar, meaning that the US dollar will have less tension, less pressure, less necessity to print more and more and more to drive the price up of everything, to drive up inflation, and to drive up the cost of our savings account, okay? And that's going to be huge moving forward, because a lot of us want to live in a better society money-wise. We want to be able to have more money, want to be able to get money faster, and people don't realize this is what they want or this is what they need. We just get stuck into what already is, okay? Like I said, 1971, we switched to print money, and inflation's been just through the roof since then. It's going to keep going up until we stop printing money, and that's where crypto come from. So a lot of people say, okay, cool, so crypto's here, now it's going to replace the dollar. No, it's not. So we're going to talk about the crypto market and how it's going to enhance the dollar now. So when we look at the US dollar and we look at crypto's not here to replace the US dollar. It is here to strengthen the US dollar. And how do I know so? Let me tell you exactly how I know so. So in the crypto market, we have stable coins, okay? So we're just gonna touch on payroll infrastructure, because I love payroll infrastructure, and this is something that I value and I think you should value as well, okay? So payroll infrastructure is going to be the ACH batching and the reason why we're getting paid every 2 weeks, why we have to wait week to week to get paid, okay? So when you look at that, let's say like we do change our payroll infrastructure, they won't be able to pay us in crypto. They won't be able to pay us in, let's say, Bitcoin or XRP right here, because XRP price change. You see what I'm saying? XRP has $2.06. So what if I get paid one day, my check $1,200, but XRP's down? So now am I gonna get paid $800? No, I can't get paid $800. That is not right. That's illegal. But I should be able to have the option to put my money XRP. That's where there's going to be tokens like these right here. You see Tether right here. You see USDC right here. You see we have some more. We have Athena USDE right here. Okay, we have these tokens called stable coins. And what a stable coin is basically a token that is backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar. Remember, before we went to printing our dollars out, remember we had paper that was backed by gold. Okay? So we're kind of going back to that system. We're reverting back to that system just digitally now. So now we're going to have these stable tokens, stable coins that are backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar, meaning it is a representation of the US dollar. Okay, so now if I were to get paid via digital assets, via the crypto market, alleviating that ACH system so that we don't have to wait for bi-weekly pay, it would be in stablecoin. I would get paid in stablecoin. The reason why, I look at these stablecoins. So this stablecoin Tether, 99 cents. This stablecoin USDC, 99 cents. It does not lose value. It's always going to be worth $1. If it's not $1, 99 cent 0.96, because cryptocurrency goes lower than a penny. So it could be even less than $1. So if I get paid $1,200, guess what? I'm gonna get $1,200. I won't have to worry about, is Bitcoin down on the day I'm getting paid? Is Bitcoin up on the day I'm getting paid? No, because I'm gonna get paid in this token that is backed by the US dollar. Okay. And this is big, and this is incremental to see that all of these companies, now we see Tether and we see Circle. These are two of the first two stable coins created. That's why they have higher market cap. Okay, $74 billion is in stable coin in USDC. $186 billion is in USDT, meaning that $186 billion is sitting in stable coin right now, waiting to be distributed, waiting to be used. Okay, so the reason why this is big and how we could look at this and know, okay, cool, the US dollar is not losing its strength or is not getting reverted to something else, is because these banks and these companies are making their stable coins backed by the US dollar. You see what I'm saying? So that means they have it in their mind like, okay, the US dollar is a part of the future, so we're going to make our coins backed by it, meaning that this is going to still be the global reserve currency. Now, if we see these stable coins being backed by gold, backed by pound, backed by yen, backed by pesos, backed by anything other than US dollar, then we could think like, okay, US dollar is losing strength. Because why are these companies, why are these banks not trying to make their money backed by the US dollar? You see what I'm saying? Why is everything kind of pivoting away from the US dollar? Huh? Why are countries starting to stack up on other pays? Why are countries all buying pounds now? You see what I'm saying? Why are they buying yen? Why are they moving away from the USD? You see what I'm saying? That would be the definitive line, like, okay, we might be moving in a new direction, global currency rise. But if I look at all these stable coins and I see everything is USDT, US dollar Tether, USDC, US dollar Circle. If I look at RLUSD, the Ripple stable coin, Ripple USD. If I'm looking at all these stable coins and they all have USD on it, then that makes me believe that the future will still be revolving around US dollar. So crypto's not coming to replace the US dollar, it's coming to strengthen the US dollar. It's coming to relieve pressure from the US dollar so that we don't keep printing more money of the US dollar. Now we have digital money. So now these tokens are out there. We don't got to print these tokens. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of stable coins around. Okay? So even if we use up all the market cap of Tether, guess what? You got Circle. And then we got banks like Chase. They're making their own stable coin. They're making their own blockchain so that they don't lose their clients to these crypto banks, to a bank like Ripple, to a bank like Circle, to a bank like Tether. Banks like Chase are making their own stable coin, their own blockchains to say, hey, when everything changes and you think you don't know what's going on, we got you. You already a Chase holder. We going to take care of that. All you got to do is log into the app and everything else going to be normalized for you. We just going to pivot. And that's one thing about JP Morgan is because anytime change happens, they always adapt. Okay, they always adapt. When the SEC was created in the Great Depression, when JP Morgan's son was alive running the CEO position, guess what? He didn't say, hey, this is my way or the highway. No, he decided to do an IPO. That's when Chase went public. I mean, that's when J.P. Morgan went public. At the time, it wasn't Chase; it was House of Morgan. That's when they went public, though. That's when no more of the Morgan family could be CEOs. It was in shareholders because they were like, "Hey, we can't manipulate the market how we want to. We can't invest all our money and not show people what we're doing. We have to be able to play in these realms, or we'll lose our position." And they did that 100 years ago, and here they are again pivoting from the way that the banking system always been, them as the middleman. They're like, hey, we could either be like, no, we're going to be the middleman, y'all can't take our spot, or we could see like, hey, adapt. We have to adapt because adoption is coming, and when it comes, we want to already be in position for our clients so that they don't go somewhere else like Tether, like Circle, like Ripple. Okay, and that's why I kind of like JP Morgan as to how they are ran, because they adapt, and a lot of people don't adapt. And for the people that don't adapt, that's why they adapt, because they're like, okay, I know my clients ain't gonna want to go find out all that stuff anyways. So that's why we just gonna make it easy for you. So they are making stable coins backed by the U.S. dollar. If Chase was making a stable coin backed by yen, then we'd be concerned. Like, okay, hold on, what's going on with the U.S. dollar? Is America losing their power? Is the U.S. dollar not as valuable as we think? Do we got to pivot as well? Like, do I got to start maneuvering my assets as well? That's when you look at that. Until that happens, the U.S. dollar is still the front runner. The U.S. dollar will still be the global reserve currency. And we are still continuing to see the digital asset realm strengthen the U.S. dollar, which is a good thing because we don't want the U.S. dollar to keep being printed out, keep driving inflation up, keep making cost of living higher, okay? These are all good things when we look at them from the long-term point of view, knowing what's going on. Okay? Right now, USD is used for everything. Okay? It's used for everything. For global trade, for what we do here in America, for what's going on overseas, for what's going on in war. When a country's in war, we send them USD. Okay? So guess what? Are they going to take the USD from you? No. They're going to go print some more and going to send it over there to Israel. They're going to print some more. They're going to send it over there to Ukraine so they could get some weapons. Or Ukraine going to pay us in our money, in our currency, to get the weapons. When we are paying China to import goods, we're paying them in US dollars. Okay? We're paying them in US dollars. And that's what it is, because we're the global reserve currency. Okay, so every country must have the global reserve currency so trade could be the same on all ends, on all fronts. Okay, so even as we look at this, it's just like we have to kind of get to the idea and the mindset of things are going to change regardless. And to me, like, this is where I'm personally like, so like down for the content and down for going live, even when I have 0 viewers, even when people ain't liking my friends. Even when I don't see people supporting, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a time where you have to learn about this because it's going to change. And a change is never overnight, especially a change like this, a change to a whole entire system. It's not going to be overnight. This is like years in the making. And right now we're on like year 17. Okay, so this is years of change in the making. So when it comes to that end of time where it's like, okay, I should have been listening, people will want to know more. And I'll just keep on pumping out content and pumping out lives because I want people to learn more. There's no hard feelings when it comes to this because it took me a long time to adapt to change. It took me a long time to understand what's going on. And it took me a long time to want to learn more, to want to do this research, okay? But that can't deteriorate what's going to happen in the future because these institutions and these people putting it on the floor, they're not going to wait for nobody. You know what I mean? They're not going to wait for your approval. They're not going to wait for you to be like, okay, I understand, I'm cool with it. No. They're going to keep building behind the scenes, and guess what? One day, it's going to be federally regulated. And guess what? Now you in the rails. You're in the rails. Everyone talks about Matrix and Blue Pill and Red Pill, and I'm strapped, and they trying to trap us. No, you're trapping yourself. It's in your face. We're in 2025, 2026 now. We're in 2026. There is plenty of technology out there for you to do research. You got a phone, but you rather scroll on social medias, which isn't bad. I get stuck in Scrollville all the time myself. You see what I'm saying? You got AI, but you rather say it's going to take my job rather than using it as the tool that it is to learn more about what's to come. You know what I'm saying? People have every technology to their advantage, but will refuse to use it. And then when stuff happens, be like, well, we're stuck in the matrix. I have no say so. I can do nothing. At the end of the day, you have every choice to do what is best for you, for your family, for your generations. Every day you have that choice. Now, if you break habits and you decide to walk that life, then that's something that, first God has to put on your plate, because first God won't even bless people that's not ready for that blessing. God won't bless you to be in position to obtain a lot of money, to obtain generational wealth, to break that curse if you're not personally ready for it. You got to meet him in the middle. You got to do research. You got to understand what's going on. You got to pray. You got to read. Okay, you got to do these things in order to even meet God to get a blessing. You can't just wake up one day and sit around, do nothing all day, scroll all day, and be like, Lord, come bless me. That's not how that works. You got to put in some work, whether it's research, whether it's reading, whether it's whatever you got to do to meet God in the middle for him to say, okay, now, since you've been putting in your half of the bargain, let me show you what I've already had planned for you the whole time. Okay? And that's why I'm cool with making the content no matter the situation, because maybe I could get people to get to that half of their blessing. Okay? Maybe I could get people to understand that their blessing lies here in this change, regardless of what anyone thinks, what anyone don't know. Okay? Because you got to start somewhere. No one knows it all. I don't know it all. You see what I'm saying? I'm doing research every day to try to figure out more and more and more. Okay? Trying to learn more. Trying to read more. There's nothing wrong with Scrollville, but what you scrolling? When you stuck in Scrollville on your phone, what's on your feed? Is it brain rot videos of kids smacking kids? You feel me? Or is it like actual things that can benefit you? Is it motivation? Is it God? Is it about the word? Is it about investments? Is it about future of finance? Is it about a book? Is it about a show? What's it about? Okay? And a lot of people got to break those habits, break those chains in order to level up in what's to come. And that's just how it is, okay? That's literally just how it is. So, as far as the content goes, and as far as the future goes, and as far as investing goes as a whole, no one will wait for you. No one's going to come save you. And again, when the future of finance changes, no one's going to be like, okay, let me come hold your hand. Let me knock on your door. Let me explain. Let me make sure that you're okay with this. Are you okay if we switch to blockchains? Are you cool with that? Are you okay if you get real-time payroll stream? Nobody's doing that. No president will do that. No mayor will do that. No governor will do that. No senate will do that. No congressman will do that. No congresswoman will do that. No political person will come knock on your door in the middle of the hour and tell you, are you okay with this change? No. They're going to build this change. They're going to make sure that the change works. They're going to make sure that the change is perfect before they force you to do it. And force means federally regulate. Once it's federally regulated, you have no say-so. We have to understand. Call it a matrix. Call it whatever. Call it governance. Call it power. Call it whatever you want to call it. When it's time to be federally regulated, you gonna have to change regardless. So, all I'm doing here is to tell you, blockchains and digital assets will be federally regulated. Get in position before that. Please, not for me. I don't ask nobody for no money. I don't ask you for nothing. I don't need anything for these lies. I don't need nothing. All I want you to do is change your life by doing a little bit of research. Dedicate 30 minutes to learn more about the future of finance. Figure out what's broken. I guarantee you, once you dedicate 30 minutes to learning more, 30 minutes turn to an hour. An hour turn into 2 hours. 2 hours turn into 5 hours. 5 hours turns into a day. A day turns into your way of thinking. Okay? And once you get into that realm, then you learn it more. I promise you're going to want to tell people about it too. Literally. Once you really realize what's going on and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I could see what's going on. I could see the future. I could see what they trying to do and what movements they trying to make. You're gonna start finding assets that is gonna probably be the future. Look at this. Let's scroll through real quick. Look at all these tokens. This is the top 100, but look at this. There's 90 pages of tokens. Okay, there's 90 pages of tokens. Look at that. 8,000 token. 108,000 token. Can we go more? There's 8,000. There's 8951 tokens listed on here on CoinMarketCap. All of these tokens aren't going to be successful. Okay? And I don't invest into all these tokens. Of course not. Why would I do such a thing? But you could probably find, if you do research and you start understanding and you have a different wired way of thinking, you'll probably find some tokens that will result in some future change, that will play incremental roles into what the government's trying to pursue. We're so boxed into what's going on in our four walls being America, we're also boxed in, and when I say we, me too, we're boxed into what's going on in our country that we don't even know what's going on in other countries. Our mindset is not even boxed into other countries. What we watch isn't even boxed into other countries. Our algorithms on the social media is only based off of our country. We don't truly know and understand what other countries are up to, what other countries are doing, what other countries are thinking, what the whole rest of the world are thinking. A lot of people in America think that America is the only right. We think what we're doing is the only way of doing things. Let me tell you, you can't be further from the truth. And I thought the same thing. I haven't even been out the country, so I thought everybody was just following our lead. I thought everybody was moving how we move. I thought we was the leaders on one accord. We was the head of the world, which we sort of try to make ourselves be, but we really not when it comes to as far as regulations and how we do things and how we get paid. Like, we're the only country that got citizens walking around here with guns. Most of these countries don't even worry about high crime rate. They don't worry about having to go out and get smacked by a sniper or getting smacked at a school or getting smacked in the streets. They don't worry about none of that stuff. We do, because that's how our laws are. And we think everybody's laws is the same as our laws. So now when it comes to this regulation of crypto, we all think, since we were introduced to crypto bad, that crypto negative. These other countries is already on point. Abu Dhabi, Dubai area, the Emiratis, they already locked in with this stuff. Okay, the UK, they are rampantly trying to improve their technology to be us. Trump is the first president, right or wrong, how you feel about him, to get into office and see this and be like, hold on, every other country in the world is trying to shift to this change. We finna get left behind. Let me tell you, if we would have never tried to regulate crypto, these banks wouldn't have been backing the US dollar. They would have been backing one of these other currencies, and we might have been getting pushed out of our global reserve currency because we chose not to adapt. We chose not to adapt, but guess what? Now we are adapting. And either way, when our governments, Trump's first term, Biden, when that all was going on, people were still building. The crypto community was still around. Let me tell you, if we never truly wanted to regulate crypto, crypto would have still had its main purpose: decentralization. Taking the power away from banks, moving one accord off rails away from the standard. So eventually, we would have been getting pushed out of our positions as a country. Okay? Because then decentralization would have took over. So it's a good thing that America decided to wake up and be like, hey, we need to adapt or we'll get pushed out of our spot, because now they could work centralization into these digital assets, into the crypto market. Because like I just stated, change is inevitable. No one's coming knocking on our doors like, hey, are you okay, Trey, if we decide to federally regulate crypto and blockchains and payroll infrastructure? Are you cool with that? All you have to do is say you're not okay with that and we're not going to do it. No one's doing that. They're going to federally regulate it whether you're ready for it or not. But since you have the opportunity to be ready, you better off investing in what you know to come. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. You are free to make your own decisions with your money. This is not financial advice. But if you are making the best investment, why not make the investment on what you know is to come? What you know is the future. Okay? What do you know to come? That is the biggest thing. And that's the research that we got to do on a daily basis. How is the world shifting? When we look at the stock market, right? The safe haven with the stock market is everything is sort of transparent, right? We're investing into companies that have quarterly reports. We see their earnings. We see how much money they're making. We see their profit. So that is a sense of transparency. That's a sense of stability when you start investing. You look at that stuff and be like, okay, cool. I think this is valuable enough for me to put my money in. I could get with that. Okay. The difference right now with the crypto market is there is no regulation. We don't know exactly what's to come. We have the idea of the direction we're going into, but no one's 100% sure how this will all play out. So that in itself makes digital assets and crypto tokens a risky investment. Yeah, of course. And like most people say, no risk, no reward, right? Even investing into the stock market is still risk. You know what I mean? Unless you're investing to ETFs. ETF is probably the safest investment you could ever do. But there's still risk involved when it comes to investing, okay? Regardless of the risk, regardless of anything that's going on, we know where we are trying to go. If you don't know, the research is out there, okay? And that's why I'm here on live and I make videos to try to get you to know. Okay, and whether people take that advice or they don't, that's all up to them. You know what I mean? Regardless, I'm in position. So to me, that's why I don't need anyone's money. I don't need to no courses because I'm in position and I'm good. And I want everyone else to see this position before it comes into fruition, because that's the greatest power of the wealth transfer. When a new system like this comes into play, there's a wealth transfer that also happens underneath. Millionaires turn into billionaires. Regular people turn into millionaires. Billionaires turn into trillionaires. That's going to be the biggest curve of this crypto realm. A lot of people are about to turn into trillionaires. And not a lot of people as in like everyday people, you know what I mean? A lot of these billionaires are about to hit trillionaire status. And when there's trillionaires in the market, guess what? Now the pool of millionaires grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Elon Musk probably will be the first trillionaire because he's already at a 500 billion and he has all of his money into Tesla. And guess what Tesla buys? Bitcoin. Tesla buys Bitcoin. So when the crypto market grows and Bitcoin gets more valuable, and we looking at Bitcoin at maybe 500K per token, and he's sitting on a whole bunch of tokens, and he's sitting on Tesla that's bringing in money too, his net worth gonna be $1 trillion, and people gonna be surprised. People gonna be like, oh my gosh, like he's a net, whatever kind of narrative people want to make about it and feel bad about. You had the opportunity to make the money with him. I see you, Ganny. You had the opportunity to make the money too, because it's right here in our face, okay? So as far as the content goes and investing goes, you know, I think investing is a necessity when it comes to the structure of our dollar that I was just touching on. And for any new viewers in here, because I see I got a few new viewers in here, you know, we were talking about monetary system. We were talking about the structure of how money moves. We were talking about money isn't wealth. Money isn't the equivalent to wealth. Money is a tool. We were talking about what money is: a store of value, a unit of account, okay, a medium of exchange. We were talking about all those things, and we were talking about, long story short, how crypto is not coming to push the US dollar out of its position, because you got to remember, USA, we never going to just give up our power, just hand our power over to someone else like, here, we don't want it no more. Are we crazy? We all live in America. We know what's going on out here. We're not going to hand that over, but we will be all ears open to how can we change and how can we adapt to strengthen this. And that's where crypto comes in. We're going to strengthen the dollar so that we don't have to print more money. These stable coins right here, this Tether USD, this USDC, Ripples, PayPal has stable coins. Chase is making their own stable coin. They're going to strengthen the US dollar to alleviate pressure so that we don't have to keep on printing and printing and printing more, driving up inflation, driving up cost of living. Okay? So I've kind of just been talking about all of that. And I see y'all got 4 viewers. Go ahead, say what's up to me. If y'all got any questions, if y'all got, you know, if there's anything else we want to talk about, because I kind of touched all on the monetary system, and I've kind of touched on the crypto market and how that ties into the US dollar and what we're going to be looking for moving forward, right? Because, you know, it's essential to know these things. And to me, it's essential to know what you're investing into, what you're getting into. You can't just blindly invest. You can't just go out and be like, well, Trey told me that this was going to work, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm a good source because I'm actually doing a lot of research, but I always recommend for you to do the research too. You know what I mean? We have to do research. No one's gonna go buy something they don't know. I always like to use this example. No one's gonna go try and buy food that they don't like. That's why a lot of people don't try new food, because if I'm spending my money, what if I don't like it? And now I spend my money on something I don't like that I didn't eat and I just wasted money. So it's the same thing with investing. Why would I go invest into something I don't know about? I don't understand. I have no clue what that is because of somebody else telling me so. It's because of somebody else's word. That's why it's essential that we do research. We go try that food. We go see what that food tastes like. What is the difference in investing in Bitcoin or crypto? Okay, perfect. So Bitcoin and crypto, the difference between that. So first, crypto is the market. So crypto is all of this right here. So real quick, let me move my camera real quick so we could get a good, idea of what's going on here. Okay, I'm gonna move my camera up top for you for the stream real quick. Okay, so the crypto market is everything right here. Okay, so the crypto market is all these tokens, right? Market cap. This is $3.09 trillion. So that means $3 trillion is invested all into these cryptos right here. Okay. Now Bitcoin. Bitcoin is right here at number one. See, Bitcoin is right here. The number one is 1.82 trillion. So the difference is so go to answer your question real quick, Yanni. The difference between that is Bitcoin is just a token, just an asset in the crypto market. So Bitcoin is Apple. Apple's in the stock market. Okay, Apple's a stock because it's in the stock market. Bitcoin is a crypto because it's in the crypto market. So if you buy Bitcoin, you're investing into crypto. You can invest into crypto without buying Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? It's literally just a brother that's in the market. All of these coins are brothers and cousins and family under the crypto family. Okay? So like Yanni, me, you, my mama, Uncle Kimmy, Uncle Donald, Tim, we are all under the Burgess family. Okay? So all these cryptos, Bitcoin included, is under the crypto family. That's all it is. So if you buying into Bitcoin, you're just investing into one crypto asset. Okay? If I buy anything other than Bitcoin, I could still be investing into the crypto asset without investing into Bitcoin. So the reason why Bitcoin gets the rep of it's the almighty crypto is because, look, Bitcoin's for number one is number one on the market. It has the highest market cap. It's the only market cap with 1 trillion. So out of the $3 trillion in the crypto market, 1 trillion of those dollars is in Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is making up majority of the market right there off the rip. Just under half. So about 47% of the money that's flowing into crypto is in Bitcoin itself. That's the difference right there. So it's not even the aspect of is Bitcoin crypto, because yeah, it is. But crypto is not Bitcoin. Crypto is digital assets. Crypto is cryptography. Okay? So that's the difference right there. And Bitcoin is Bitcoin is like the safest, one of the safest investments you can have in the crypto market, because you see it's 91K per token. It has $1 trillion market cap, and mostly everyone knows what that is. If people don't know what crypto is, they for sure know what Bitcoin is. They for sure understand what that is, for sure. So that's a good question right there, though, because now you could kind of get that distinction of, okay, I could buy crypto without Bitcoin. But you can't buy Bitcoin without crypto, because anytime you buy Bitcoin, you are officially stepping into the crypto market. If you buy an ETF, you are officially buying stocks. You can't buy an ETF and then not be buying stocks, basically. So, I hope that was able to provide some clarity. Oh, okay, I got it. So I should invest in Bitcoin first, even with my ETF. Yep, because now, so your ETF that you own and you share and you have is the stock market, okay? So your ETF is the stock market, right? Now let's draw it out real quick. Oh, shoot. Your ETF is the stock market right here. I can't even draw with this. I can't draw. But your ETF is the stock market. So your stock market is right over here. This circle right here. So you could buy all different types of stocks, Apple, Microsoft, whatever. And then you got a crypto market now, which is Bitcoin and any other crypto in the world. So now you could invest your money into two different markets. We got the Bitcoin market. We got the crypto market. There's two different markets now. So yeah, if you got ETFs, cool. Keep your ETFs right over here in the stock market, and then you could come start buying Bitcoin in the crypto realm, because Bitcoin is going to be the safest investment, because as the crypto market gets bigger and people understand it more and it starts getting federally regulated, people are going to be buying Bitcoin a lot more because it's scarce, because there's not a lot out there, because one day you'll run out. Hint, digital gold. One day we're looking at Bitcoin is worth 90,000. Bitcoin could hit $1 million per token. That's a great return on investment, and a lot of the richest people in the world believe that. That's why we see people like President Trump. President Trump owns 11,000 Bitcoin. You see, Bitcoin is at 91K, and he has 11,000 of them tokens. So he's sitting on $1 billion in Bitcoin alone. So if our president of the United States is willing to invest $1 billion into this asset, no matter how you feel about the man, he knows something we don't, right? And technically now we know too, because this is what it is. Bitcoin is scarce, and as the crypto market gets bigger, Bitcoin just gonna turn into, oh, let me park my money in this safe investment. Right now it's risky because not many people know about what crypto is. But when Bitcoin is normalized, it's gonna be the safest investment you could do, because you for sure gonna get your return on investment. And once more people realize that, more people gonna start buying it up, buying it up, buying it up. So as far as ETFs go, ETF is the safest investment you could do in the stock market. So yeah, buy your ETFs, dollar cost average into ETFs. The ETF that you like and that you hold, when you see it lower than the price you previously paid, buy some more, and you do the same thing with Bitcoin. I tell my friends, anytime you see an 8 in front of Bitcoin, anytime you see 89, anything, 88, buy some more Bitcoin. No matter how much it is. Because the thing is like, right now, people trying to race to own one Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is normalized, owning 0.1 is going to be a lot. Just having 0.1 token, not even a full token, not even half a token, 0.1 is going to be generational. Okay, so it's definitely an investment that no one's trying to miss out on, and the media is going to push it how it's supposed to push it. Like, you know, this is bad, you don't want to do this. Because they're not gonna want you to understand like the scarcity of it, how price is gonna move on it, the value of it, where it's going to go, where it's heading to, the purpose of it. They try to push that narrative like, hey, no one knows its utility. What's it gonna do? Why is it even around? It's not made for us. No, it's the exact opposite. It's made for you to store that money there till it grows over time. 100%, Yanni, 100%. Good. I will get that set up and keep buying stock. My ETF. Yup, and that's a great game plan. Safe investment in the stock market, and the safest investment you could get in the crypto market, in Bitcoin, right? And then like we see, I went down. This is just the first page of the best tokens, top 100. There's 90 pages on here. So there's 8,000 different tokens, okay? And Bitcoin is just the safest one. All that money is in one token. So imagine if Bitcoin gets that gold market cap, okay? Let's look at that. Gold's market cap. Gold is sitting at a $31 trillion market cap. Gold is at a $31 trillion market cap. As a consequence, it is safe to say that the current market cap of gold is between 25 trillion and 38 trillion. Bitcoin is at 1 trillion market cap. Imagine Bitcoin is at half of the market cap of gold. So now that means is the amount of money being put into that asset. So that means there's $31 trillion being bought up by gold. People are investing $31 trillion into gold. Right now, people are only investing $1.8 trillion into Bitcoin. Imagine Bitcoin at half of 31 trillion. So imagine Bitcoin at 15 trillion market cap. If it's at 1 trillion right now and it's 91,000 per token, a 15 trillion market cap, we're looking at something that's $1 million a token. Okay? And not even majority of the world owns a crypto asset or Bitcoin. And mind you, there's only 21 million tokens in the circulating supply. There's 19.97 million So that means there's only two more billion that's going to enter the 2 more million that's going to enter the market. And once those 2 million enter the market and they get bought up, whoever's left holding some Bitcoin, you got it. Anybody else that tries to get in, you're too late. You better hope somebody sells it, and you better hope you the first one there to scoop it up, or you cooked. For real though. So that's like the future of Bitcoin and the market in as a whole in general. And as we look forward to getting some more clarity and some more perspective changes in the financial world, and I guess that the government's supposed to be coming out with some more clarity regarding crypto later this week on the 15th. We'll see. We'll never try to speculate, or we never try to guess. We have no inside sources. We just wait to see what the news is talking about. We wait to hear something actually related to the regulation of the crypto market and digital assets. But either way, my personal ceiling is 2028, because by the time Trump's out of office, he wants to make a change with digital assets. We know what kind of ambitious figure Donald Trump is, and we know what kind of man he is. And as the type of man he is, he's gonna want to be the one that puts all of this on the floor. He's gonna be the one that dictates the change, and he wants to be the one that be like, Biden could have did this, but he didn't. Good or bad, however we feel about it, we don't get political. We look at facts. And the fact is, he's going to want to make a change with the crypto market. So whether that's this year, whether that's 2027, or whether that's 2028, there's going to be a huge wealth gap being transferred, and there's going to be mass adoption at play. And these banks and these businesses and these tokens are putting themselves in position for that change. For when that day comes, they're ready to better serve the people in the world with this product. And as we look at that stuff, we have to think of ourselves in that situation like, hey, how can I best align my assets, my investments, to also be a part of this change? Do I get a part of this change, or do I miss out on everything? That's why I always equate this back to the 90s. A lot of people in the 90s heard about the internet, thought that it was a good idea, thought it was a terrible idea. Either way, missed out on the change. And guess what? Now you're watching me on the internet. Now I got a phone right here. I got a PC over here. I got a TV right behind me that's connected to the Wi-Fi. I only know the internet. Okay, I don't know nothing else other than the internet. I've never walked a day on earth without the internet. And there's going to be kids that grow up that will never walk a day on this earth without digital assets, without knowing what Bitcoin is. And as we think about that and we look at that change, we got to put ourselves into the position to best win and best accumulate more of this asset. So I hope, I got a few viewers in here, I hope something was said, or something that was just mentioned could have put a spark into something, could have got like some more clarity behind something. And if not, maybe next time, or maybe it inspires someone to do their own research on this topic. But nonetheless, the future is going to where it's going. The future of finance is changing. The strength of the U.S. dollar is on track to get stronger, because it needs it. It desperately needs it. The U.S. dollar is in shambles. Terrible condition right now. And we need the change. So it has the access to be strengthened, and we're going to see how all of that ends up playing out. But before any of that happens, we must align ourselves with the Lord. We must align our assets into the future so that we could be a part of change, and that we could be able to just set ourselves free from the generational curses that have been put onto us when this country was founded. And with all that being said, I'm going to wrap this stream up because I've already been on here for an hour. If you just joined, the stream will be updated onto YouTube, so the stream will never go anywhere. We could go back, we could watch it, we could break it down. I'll be posting clips on the social medias from this stream. Not every clip from the stream, but a lot of good clips from the stream on social media, so that more people could hear it, more people could get that reach. Thank you for putting out the information. It's my pleasure. But as I wrap this stream up, I want to just make sure I say a quick prayer, and then we just gonna close right out of here. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. To everybody tuning in, to everybody that came in, to everybody that walked in, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope something was said, done, or received to change your life and change how you look at investing. And we'll be back with another stream next Sunday.